Hi everyone, and welcome back to Small Talks with MyWellbeing. We are wrapping Mental Health Awareness Month this week, but as we all know, mental health is never really over. We all have it every single day, and we're going to keep the advocacy going, and I hope that you join us. Today, we are unpacking, do I have to talk about everything in the first session? So we get this question all the time, and for good reason. It's such a good one. How do we know what to start talking about? How do we know what to share? How do we know what not to share? So thank you so much to those of you who have asked. The short answer is no. Absolutely not. Of course not. How could you share everything in 45 or 60 minutes, right? The slightly longer answer is you can share anything that you want to share. So if you're working with a provider who is a bit more concrete, a bit more goal-oriented, they may prime you and you may work together on starting to identify what are some of the goals that you want for this treatment? What are some of the outcomes that you want to see? What are some of the things that are top of mind that you want to start making progress toward? If you're working with a provider who's more relational, a little bit more fluid, they may leave it open-ended to you. You may want to share some of the things that are top of mind for you that have initiated your coming to care at this particular time. You may want to start to share some of the things in your past and your upbringing and your present, or that you anticipate in the future that you want to gain more understanding around or share around or learn around. All of that said, you can focus on something specific if you want to. You can be more broad if you want to, but what's important to remember is you have control, you have the ability to share anything that you feel safe and comfortable sharing, and to withhold anything that you want to disclose later once you've built more trust, once you've built more rapport. So for some of us, we actually feel an inclination to share absolutely everything right up front. But sometimes this might sound counterintuitive, then when we leave that first session, we feel a little raw. We feel a little vulnerable, and we almost retreat into our turtle shell so that we can feel a little bit more of that safety. So if you have that tendency, if you reflect on some of your early friendships or early relationships, you might want to be mindful about actually deciding proactively of your first session, what is it that you want to share? And make a short bullet list for yourself in a notes app, in a notebook, about what those things are, and to be mindful of your own boundaries and honoring those boundaries of what you'd want to share in that first session in particular. On the other side of the spectrum, some of us might be very guarded, very boundaried, and have high walls, and they may be there for good reason, right? So we may find that in friendships or relationships or past therapy experiences, we've really had to challenge ourselves to be vulnerable and to share. So you may also want to do the same exercise coming from the other end of the spectrum, where you think about, okay, I really want to stretch. I really want to make the most of this time. What are the things that I want to share during this period that I feel will give a meaningful foundation that we can build on, that's rooted in, okay, why am I here? Why have I started? So ultimately also keep in mind that you can check in on some of these things. You can work in partnership with your therapist or your coach on some of these things throughout your care together. But the short answer is you do not need to share absolutely everything in the first session. And however you are feeling going into that first session, you can absolutely share with your provider. So as you sit and you say, I'm really nervous, or I'm feeling kind of shy, or I'm feeling kind of awkward, that is so normal. It is so fun and even encouraged to share that with your provider. I'm sure that you'll both have a little bit of a laugh or a little bit of a moment, and it may even help you start to build some of that interpersonal and really human connection. I hope that this small talk is helpful for you today. If there's anything that you think about or that's helpful for you in your first sessions, please share it in the comments here. It might be just the thing that someone needs to read or see to take that next step forward. And please share this with loved ones who you think it might help or support. We're here and we're happy to help. So as always, keep your questions coming. We can't wait to continue talking about them in 5 minutes or less on our small talks to come. So good to see you here, and wishing you a love-filled rest of your week. See you soon. Bye.